Alright, so I got my 2-inch aluminum flat, and I did mark it exactly the way it is on the other side so that it clears the welds on the radiator and there's no touching or anything at all. And it's perfectly in line with my line. So it's going to be the same as it is over there, so that when I put my top sheet on, everything's going to line up perfectly square and there's nothing that's going to be out of whack. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my first piece on here, and I'll kind of do just a little rough draft, that way I can just get it on. Double check it once you put it on there. Get the other side done. And hold one sec. Hammer time. Alright, so you don't want to beat on it, you just want to make it go into place. So that's perfect, and that's perfect. You probably can't see it, but it's right on the money. Then I'll put one more in the middle. And then where I'm going to tack it, I'll use a 1, 2, 3 block. That one's pretty hot. Get a cooler one, place it where I'm going to tack it, clamp it down, do my tacks. So, this 2-inch flat aluminum is the same exact location as this one. So let me tack it out. Alright, so got this side done. Got my little tacks on there. They're not really tacks. But anyways, see if I can do this one-handed. Drops right in, didn't warp. You want to watch your heat when you're welding with aluminum. And I know you probably can't tell, but it's off the welds of the radiator all the way down. It sits flush on both ends. This is where I'm going to put my brackets. So this is how far it'll be, 2 inches from the radiator. Let's cut out this side. We'll cut out the other side. Tack it all in. Then we'll put the top sheet plate on it. We'll cut the holes for that. I got a special tool I want to show you that I'm going to use instead of using my good old trusty ruler and markers. And we'll go from there. Alright, so I already got the side pieces cut. to the size I need, which is a 2-inch flat. We already did the sides here. Now we're doing the bottom pieces. I am using a chill block just to keep it from warping any. Once I'm done with that, we'll put the second piece on the top part. At that point, we'll have a full shroud. So, let me get this tacked up, and then I'll show you what it looks like with just the framing of it. If you're interested about the teak armrest, I have a video on how I built this. It's really easy. Check it out if you'd like. Alright, so I got it all welded out. It does not have to be welded all the way across. So don't think you have to do that. Really, you can even have smaller tacks than that, or just smaller welds. 1-inch welds are fine. That's just my preference. Kind of did shorter welds on the side. It's not going to hurt anything. It's going to stay tight because when you put your top on, it's going to make it even firmer. So let's set this on the radiator itself, and then you'll see how it's going to sit up. And so there you go. The framing's done. It's 2 inches from the fins of the radiator, which will give it a little bit more adequate cooling, I think. And it looks different, and it's a little better. So this part's done. Wouldn't even sit on there all the way. This part's done. Let's get the lid on it and cut the holes out. Alright, so as you know, we already got the framing part of it done. Now, I told you we're going to cut the lid, and here's the lid. And just so you can see how expensive stuff's getting, it's expensive. So, here's the lid. This is the top. When I cut it, I made sure I labeled where the top was, and this is the top back. So that means, and if you want to know how I cut this, you can look at my last video that I did with the building a fan shroud. And I just used a jigsaw with a super fine blade, and it cuts perfect. It literally cuts perfect. So here it is. Just like I said it would be. I think it's going to look good, but I know it's going to work. I know it's going to work very well, just because of the space. So there's also a change of plans. In the beginning of the video, I told you I was going to have to do extensions here. Well, with a little bit of modifications to the fans, and I'll show you here in a second, you can actually just put another, what gauge is that? Let's take a look real quick. 1/8. So if you add another piece of 1/8 right here on the side, just maybe a 4-inch strip, it'll actually fit for this, for the fans. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so here it is with 14-inch fans. For this radiator, these fans are big, and that's good. Most of the time when you see these 28-inch wide radiators, they have a 10-inch fan in them. These are big. I just can't tell you how big they are. You can see it. They're big. If you watched the last video I did on this, oh, I didn't make one, I'm sorry. I just recently did one on a 454 truck radiator. I forget how wide it was, but I used 16-inch fans. Those things were huge, but it worked out perfect. I'll see if I can throw in a picture real quick. but I don't know if you can tell on the sides, it just barely overlaps. Barely overlaps. So I'm not gonna have to build a little extra side on there. All I really have to do like I said, this is 1/8 by 2 by 6 foot, 2 inch by 6 foot. Cut some 4-inch pieces out. Just tack them right there for the support. I don't know if you can see it very well. And look at that. It fills it up perfectly. Fills it up perfectly. So that's gonna work. So I'm not gonna have to make no custom sides on it or anything. I'll just have to put that little plate on there like that. It ain't even gonna look bad. You'll see when it's done. But yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Let's start. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do the holes. I got a new tool for that. And let's get started. All right, so the lid is done. Got it on there. Got it welded up. So what comes next is all your measuring. I'm not going to show you how I do my measuring because everybody's measuring is different. Everybody has a better way of doing theirs. I have a better way of doing mine. It's all different. The fans are going to protrude a little bit, maybe about 1/4 inch off of this. It isn't going to hurt it one bit. I'll put the fans on there. I've already centered it. And the way I do that is I set the fans on here. Then I'll do an outline. See where the mounting point is, and then I'll measure from this to there because I know that that's going to be perfectly the amount from one end to the other. And then I will do from the flat end, because it's not perfectly round, I will do from the flat end left to right. I will measure from there, and that'll give me my perfect center. So where a lot of people have problems is you can make the perfect outline of the fan for the mounting area, but a lot of people don't understand how to cut from the inside of the outline from the outer part of the fan to the inside. I'll usually turn it upside down and measure from the outside of the fan housing all the way inside to the fan. In my case, it was a 1/2 inch. You probably can't see the lines. So from the outside to where I'm going to cut for the hole is going to be a 1/2 inch all the way around. And what I used to use, let me show you what I used to cut holes. If I even know where it's at. So I had this. I would measure the amount I needed. I would use this. I would drill a hole on the aluminum. I would use that as my pilot, and I would put my marker on the end wherever I wanted it to for the amount I needed, and I would spin it. I got tired of doing it that way. It's an easy way to do it. It works, but I wanted a quicker, more professional way of doing this, so I went and bought a good tool for it. You know what it is? I know it's a box. I don't know if I can do this one way. There we go. What is this? So this is from 5 Moon Sun 5. I guess these are just directions of what they are, but anyways, it's a pretty awesome product. I got it from Amazon, and I've already used it. And I have a video coming out on it. and it makes your perfect circles. So, with that being said, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the holes. Let me show you how the fans look like on here real quick. Voila! And it worked out well. You make your center line. You measure from here to here, to here to here, to here to here. Get it where you want it. And then it's going to be perfectly centered. And like I said, this ain't even sticking out a quarter, maybe a 1/16. I don't know if that's focusing or not, but it's barely sticking out. And then when I cut on the inside, the hole's going to be right on the edge of that blade. Probably can't see with the lighting, sucks, but then you measure your mounting points, or you mark your mounting points. And that's what you're going to end up with. So let's cut the holes. Alright, so the holes are cut and the fans are mounted. Stainless steel bolts or button heads, well they're not button heads, socket head. I always use stainless fasteners. If you watch my other videos, just about everything I do is stainless. You can see how far the fans are from the radiator, which that's a good thing because it'll suck the air out from the corners or from the center, wherever it might be hiding. There's not going to be no stale air or hot areas in this because it's so far back. And it's only 2 inches, as you already see. So, the fan shroud is done officially. And then what I went and picked up was some 1-inch aluminum angle. And what this is going to be is from the brace here to this part, it's pretty close to 1 inch or just a hair bigger. So this is going to work perfect. I was going to make some little brackets, you know, like cut this in a quarter and put a little bracket here and put a little bracket there. Just why not make it easy on myself? So what I did was I got that and then I cut off about, I would say, 1/4 inch of it because of this. Well, it's a little more than 1/4. I'm going to mount it right in the center. Just tack it to this and then drill my holes, put my rib nuts on the inside, and that's your mounting bracket. It's perfect because you don't want to put the mounting bracket on the bottom of here. You want it right here to where it's accessible, so if you want to pull the shroud instead of the whole radiator, you can do that. So let's get this thing welded on there and let's put drill the holes, get the rib nuts, and then put some stainless fasteners on that too. Okay, so I have it evenly spaced on the corners. I had to take the actual fans off, put me a clamp on it so that I can clamp this perfectly flush on both sides. I don't know if you can see on the back side, probably not, but I did the same thing to the back. So this is pressed up against the radiator to where it's going to sit perfectly flush, and this is right where it needs to be. So technically I'm just going to tack, 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 and I'll do the same thing on the other side, and then I'll have my bracket ready and I'll put my regular little bead in there. I'm not going to go all the way across it. There's no reason for that. And then we'll drill our holes for the rib nuts and the fasteners. Alright, so got them welded. Like I said, I wasn't going to go all the way across with it. Now we'll drill the holes. I'm going to have 4 fasteners on it, on the bottom and the top. So now the bracing is done. Let's drill for the holes. So also let me point out how I made this bracket on the inside. That's to keep the center from bowing in and out and still have enough room here for air to get sucked in from all of the inside. If you would have put a brace across and had it touching the fins, most likely it would cut into the fins and then you'd have a leak there anyway. I'll show you the backside here shortly. Okay, so I did a quick pre-drill on the bracket, the mounting bracket itself. So I've got one on the end, two in the center, not too close but close, and then I'm going to do them on the bottom. Once I do that, I'll remove this shroud, and then I'll come back and I'll make the holes bigger on the radiator itself so I can put my riv nuts on it and have something to bolt down to, which I'll show you that here in a second. So I'm going to do the other side real quick. Okay, so I started drilling the holes with a drill bit, of course. Drilling my holes for the riv nut. That's how they'll be. So these are my pilot holes, and I'm fixing to make them bigger, and I'm going to do it on the other side. Then I'll show you the finished product here in a second. Alright, so got the holes done. Drilled them out just enough for the bolts to be able to go through. Got washers and locking washers on it. See the riv nuts I used for the plate. And in the back side, you can see how I made the bracket here, and I cut that out. And when I welded it, I made sure that it was all still there. That way some of the heat would get absorbed. So that's it. It's that simple. Alright, let's get this thing mounted completely. Alright, so you got this double-sided foam tape. Well, it's not foam. Well, yeah, it is foam. Super sticky, very sticky. I mean, this is heavy-duty stuff. I don't know what it is, or the name brand or anything like that. But it's stuff you put around your AC units when you put it around your window or when you want to fill a gap for whatever. So you cut that into some strips, and you put it on the ends here. Of course, you're going to peel off the other side. And then when you get ready to lay it on the radiator, you peel the other side. And then this is the part that's going to stick to the fins. And really all it is, it's a cushion. It's not to seal the air. It's a cushion so that you don't have metal to metal or aluminum to aluminum touching the fins or anything, or rubbing the fins, so it creates a problem. That's another reason why I always cut the centers out here, so that nothing ever touches the fins. So let's set this on there, and then we'll screw it down. I'm only one-handed right now because I don't have my tripod, so sorry. So here it is, all said and done in its former glory. Got my socket head all fastened down. It's all sealed all the way around, so there's no metal to metal or aluminum to aluminum touching. This is what it is. A Super Duty radiator with a pretty thick fan shroud. And like I said, the best part about it is the fans are so far back from the actual fins itself. So on the next video, I'm going to do an air test while this is still off the truck. And I'm going to show you guys just how good these fans are. They're spalls. I'm going to show you just how good they are. And I'll put smoke or something further back away from the radiator so you can see just how much air that thing's going to suck through there. It's insane. Alright, so the next video is going to be where I actually install it in the truck. and how we make it work. Thanks for watching.